How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about 3 Democratic presidential hopefuls that have dropped out of the race, including Tom Steyer, Pete Buttigieg, and Amy Klobuchar. Now, the timing here is very interesting because Super Tuesday is tomorrow, March 3rd, 2020, in which around 38% of the delegates will be up for grabs. So the timing is very interesting. Now, some may ask, hey, ABL, why would they drop out right now? Why not wait until after Super Tuesday to make a decision? They could gain some more votes. They could gain some more delegates. They could get some momentum. But I think they know they won't get any more votes or any more quote unquote momentum, number one. And then number two, there's Joe Biden to support. Let's be clear. The Democratic Party, in my humble opinion, and in the opinion of many others, want Joe Biden to get more votes than Bernie, or to at least get him like neck and neck with Bernie. That's what they want. They don't really want Bernie to be the guy that is a nominee or the front runner or the face of the Democratic Party at all. They don't want it. Biden had a very big victory in South Carolina recently, okay, in their primary, but he had like 48% of the vote compared to Bernie was like 19% of the vote. That's probably because 2/3 of South Carolina's Democratic primary electorate are black, and they like Biden because of Obama, but that's a different story, and I digress. My point is that he had a very big victory, and the Democrats, and as well as Joe, want him to carry that out throughout Super Tuesday. Klobuchar and Edge have already pledged their support for Joe Biden. They're going to go out there and campaign. They're going to stunt for him. Tom Steyer will probably follow suit. Pocahontas will probably drop out next. And she's not necessarily a Bernie Sanders fan. Remember that whole kerfuffle talking about, did you just call me a liar on TV? Remember that? I don't think she likes Bernie too much. So even if there's no support for Joe Biden, it most certainly won't be support for Bernie Sanders. This is going to be very interesting here because if the vote is split between Bernie, Joe, you still got Bloomberg in there spending all types of money. He may be a factor. If the vote is split amongst these 3 men, who, by the way, like at least 77 years old and 78, but I'll move on. Once it gets to the convention in Milwaukee in July, the DNC, you may have a broker convention. Now, let's explain this part right quick. You need 1,911 delegates for the Democratic nominee to be chosen, which means you got to win enough states and enough delegates from the state to add up to get to 1911. That's your threshold right there. If you don't get that, you could wind up in the brokered convention. Now, some argue that if you get the plurality of the votes, meaning you get the most votes and the most delegates without getting the actual threshold, you should be chosen in the brokered convention to be the nominee. But that's not necessarily how it goes. Once you get to brokered convention, the delegates who are chosen from the states, who are actual people, they abandon who they were sent there to vote for, and they could do whatever they want. Okay? They can vote for a guy that's not even running. I think it happened before with Garfield. So they can vote for Biden. They can vote for Hillary Clinton. They could vote for anybody that they want. It does not have to be Bernie. I think that's the objective here. The Democratic Party don't want Bernie Sanders. They didn't want him in 2016, and they don't want him now for a variety of reasons. First of all, they know they're going to lose. Okay, really, anybody that they put out there, they're going to lose regardless. But with him, it'll be an embarrassment. You're talking about Walter Mondale, 1984, Ronald Reagan. He only won one state. It'll be like that. Bernie has a groundswell of support, but it's not as much as Trump, number one. And number two, it would not be enough to really make a difference in the election. Okay, you may see some rallies where it's like 5,000 people, 2,000 people. He brings a pretty decent crowd, but it's a very niche audience, and niche audiences cannot win you an election. When you are running in a primary, you got to go further to the left or further to the right to gain support among primary voters to get the nomination. But once you get closer to the election day, to November, in the general election, you have to get towards the center to gain everybody, left and the right and the center, independent, everybody, because you got to get the entire nation to get onto one accord and vote for you. Bernie can't do that. You can't go from commie to centrist. It doesn't work that way. So Bernie has no chance of being able to win. It'd be embarrassing. And then beyond that, it's not just Bernie that's running in November. You're talking about House reps, senators possibly, dog catcher. If voters stay home, not only will Bernie not get elected or voted for on a particular ballot, neither will anyone else on a ticket. Okay? That's going to be bad for the Democrats because the House, that's pretty much gone. The Senate, you won't get that back. And the presidency, at that point, Trump can pretty much do what he pleases. There's going to be no obstruction. Everybody's on his side. And then that'll last for a very long time. A lot of laws are going through the books, Supreme Court justices. I mean, so many things can be affected by the nomination of a Democratic president, even though we all know they're going to lose in the end. It doesn't matter. This is a long game we're talking about. And if you put Bernie in there, it'd be bad for the Democrats. So I think their objective is to get to a brokered convention. If it gets to the convention and they don't pick Bernie, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a serious problem. I would have riot police, maybe the National Guard out there in Milwaukee. They've already said, when I say they, I mean people on Bernie Sanders' campaign teams out there, will burn Milwaukee to the ground. And I don't think they're necessarily too off point. I hope that they don't do a thing like that. But I've seen some of these Bernie bros in action, you know, coming to city officials and state officials' houses, knocking on the door, bullhorns, flashlights. I've seen them in action just because they don't want him to get screwed out of the nomination. If they go to a brokered convention, he gets the most delegates, but does not get a nomination. That's going to be a big time problem. But hey, anybody with a brain could have seen it coming. The same thing was going on in 2016. Now it'll just be done a little bit differently. Last time it was only Hillary Clinton in the way. Just one other person. Now you got Tom Steyer, you got Bloomberg, you got Edge, all these individuals that are trying to become the president or have tried and would now support a guy to become the nominee. Either way it goes, they're going to be pretty much out of luck. I mean, Joe Biden does not know where he's at, who he is. Bernie, 78, had a heart attack, a communist. They don't have anybody that can really go out there and succeed. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that this will go to a brokered convention? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Or will it not go to a brokered convention? Will Bernie get the plurality of the votes and a nomination? And that's your viewpoint. Let me know why in the comments below. Will he get a number? Because like I said, it's 1911. Will he be able to win Georgia, Florida, talking about Cuba the way he did, Alabama, West Virginia, Pennsylvania? Will he be able to win these states? It kind of goes back to the whole electoral college thing. Okay, it's funny how the Democrats say that you probably should abolish the electoral college, but in many ways, the system of a brokered convention is similar to the electoral college. Not the same, but similar, meaning you may get the most votes, but don't mean you're going to win. Okay? They're all for it now because they don't want Bernie to get the most votes and win. It'd be interesting to see what happens, but whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.